I started calisthenics in my room 5 years ago during COVID, and we've now been able to unlock some pretty crazy shit. So if you want to do the same, here are the 5 key progressions that you need to work through. So we'll start with the super obvious progression, and that is through push-ups. And we start obviously kneeling and work through those 4 ranges of motion until we can do a negative with the kneeling up phase. And then obviously we want to work through those full body weight push-ups until we can get to 10 reps. From here, you can start elevating your hips a little bit and working into a bit of a half pike push-up and pressing up with those shoulders. Progress until you can eventually get super high with those hip positions and get into a very vertically pressed push-up. It is also so important we build up our essential hip flexor and core strength, and how we do that is progressing toward that L sit. But at the very least, we want to start with seated hip compressions, and we adjust our level of backward lean depending on how strong we are. So the further lean we go, the harder that is going to be. And once you can kind of get into this position, you can probably start progressing through those N sits to L sits. So start with an N sit, work to a single leg L sit, and modified L sit, and finally that full L sit. Inverted rows are that next key progression we want to work through. We can start super high with those rows and gradually work down to a horizontal position, but knees bent, just making sure we're getting that full range of motion. Once these start to get a little bit stronger, we can try and progress to that fully extended position. Once again, making sure we get that full range of motion. If you can get 10 reps of those, we can flip around and start elevating that feet till we get into a completely inverted row position. Dip variations are obviously an excellent exercise, and you want to start obviously with your knees bent until you can get it to a point where you can do those knees extended. Once these start to get super easy, we can progress to those chest dips, and don't be afraid to use bands to start with to learn that full range of motion. Then you can progress to negative reps, getting that full stretch on your chest and shoulders until you can start repping out those chest dips for a good 10 reps. And lastly, you knew what was coming, but we're gonna want to build up our pull-ups with any variation that you can manage. Banded variations and slightly reducing those bands over time is your best friend. You can also do these leg assisted, and inverted rows will help build this inevitably as well. I hope all this helps.